Ever feel like you're drowning in to-dos, like you're constantly trying to make changes, big or small, but it's just one step forward, two steps back?
Yeah, I think we've all been there, that feeling of information overload and just not knowing where to start to make those changes stick for good.
Well, that's exactly why we're here today. Think of this as your crash course on habit formation. We're going deep, but we're keeping it practical. You sent over some awesome material from Atomic Habits.
Really great book.
And our mission today, to break it all down, pull out those golden nuggets of wisdom, and give you some actionable strategies you can start using, like today. No fluff, just the good stuff.
Straight to the point, exactly. We want to make sure you walk away with a clear understanding of how to make those changes happen, like right away.
This whole topic is pretty close to home for me. Years ago, I had a gnarly injury. Broken nose, facial fractures, the whole 9 yards. I even had a bulging eye for a while there. It was rough. Yeah, led to double vision, seizures, months of physical therapy. It was a long road back. I felt totally sidelined. Getting back to playing sports, that felt like climbing Mount Everest. But what got me there eventually were those tiny steps, those little wins in physical therapy. It was those consistent efforts day after day that slowly but surely got me back in the game. And here's the crazy part. Years later, I saw those same principles playing out when I was building my business, even with my writing. Small, consistent improvements. That's the secret sauce.
That perfectly illustrates what we're diving into. The compounding effect of small changes over time. It really is about those consistent wins adding up, whether it's recovering from an injury like you experienced or achieving any other big goal.
Yeah, totally. Going from, well, a medically induced coma to academic All-American, it wasn't some magical overnight transformation. It was a grind, a series of small wins and those tiny breakthroughs, those aha moments that kept me going. And that's where we're starting our deep dive today. The sheer power of tiny gains.
It's amazing how James Clear, the author, frames it. He describes habits as like the compounding interest of self-improvement. It's like saving money, right? Little bits add up over time. Same with our habits. Small improvements can lead to huge results down the line. But the flip side is true too. Those little negative habits, they compound into big losses over time.
It's like a ripple effect your bank account balance today. It's not just about one big purchase. It's the result of your daily spending and saving habits over time. That number on the scale reflects your eating habits. What you know and understand, that's your learning habits in action. Even how tidy your house is, that's a reflection of your cleaning habits. It's about consistency, right?
Absolutely. What you do consistently shapes who you become. And if you want to peek into your future, Clear suggests looking at the trend of those daily actions. Are you consistently saving a little more than you spend? Are you squeezing in some kind of movement each week? Are you learning something new regularly? These are the things that shape your future way more than any single grand gesture.
That's a great point. But here's the catch, and I think we've all experienced this. You start making those small changes, but it feels like nothing's happening. Like you're stuck in this, I don't know, valley of disappointment. You're putting in the work, but the results just aren't showing up yet.
That's so common. We expect progress to be this straight line upwards, immediate and obvious. And when it doesn't happen that way, it's super discouraging. But that delayed gratification is actually a hallmark of compounding processes. Big results take time. It's like planting a seed. You don't see a mighty oak overnight.
It's not that you're not improving, right? It's just that the progress is under the surface, like that plateau of latent potential. Clear uses the great analogy of heating an ice cube. You can crank up the heat from, say, 25 to 31 degrees, but it still looks like a solid block of ice. But that energy's not wasted. It's building, storing potential. Then, bam, at 32 degrees, it melts. To an observer, it's sudden, but all that work went into getting it there.
I love that analogy. It's like those tectonic plates grinding against each other, building up tension for years before that massive earthquake hits. It's all about those invisible efforts leading to those visible breakthroughs.
So understanding these tiny gains is key. But then Atomic Habits throws us a curveball. It says, focus on systems, not goals. Can you unpack that for us? It seems a bit counterintuitive, right?
It is, and that's what makes it so powerful. We're so goal-oriented, right? We fixate on the outcome. But Clear argues that the results we see are often symptoms of deeper systems. Those habits, those processes, those are the root causes. Addressing just the results, it's a band-aid solution. For lasting change, you got to go deeper, tweak the inputs, the systems, and the outputs will follow naturally.
So instead of obsessing over losing weight, which is the goal, you focus on the systems, like what you eat and how much you move. You build the right habits, and the weight loss follows.
Exactly. And the book highlights how goals alone can be kind of tricky. They can make us postpone happiness, always thinking, once I reach this goal, then I'll be happy. It's a constant chase. and we never really savor the present.
Oh, I know that feeling. It's like once I hit this milestone, then I can relax. But there's always another milestone, right?
Always. And goals can create this all-or-nothing mindset. You either nail it or you fail. It's black and white, no shades of gray. That can be super demotivating, especially when you've made progress but haven't quite reached the finish line.
So if goals aren't the be-all and end-all, what should we focus on?
This is where identity-based habits come in. This is where the real magic happens. It's not just what you do, it's who you believe you are.
Right. It's like making that habit part of your DNA. It becomes who you are, not just something you force yourself to do.
Totally. Clear says true, lasting change is about identity change. Our actions reflect our identity, consciously or unconsciously. There's research backing this up, like people who saw themselves as voters were way more likely to vote than those who just saw voting as a task to check off.
It's like the difference between I'm a runner and I'm trying to run.
Exactly. When running becomes part of your identity, you don't have to drag yourself out the door. It's just what you do, it's who you are. And this creates a feedback loop. Habits shape identity, identity reinforces habits.
So it's less about achieving a specific outcome and more about becoming that kind of person. It's like asking what kind of person would achieve this and then working backwards to embody those traits.
Exactly. And the book provides a roadmap for how to do that, using the 4 laws of behavior change.
Let's dive into those. Starting with law number 1, make it obvious this is all about cues, right? Those triggers that set a habit in motion.
Right. Cues signal a potential reward to our brains. Our brains are constantly scanning for them, both inside and outside of us, like our ancestors scanning for food and water. Today, we also have cues for things like money, status, social validation.
And because these cues are so embedded in our daily routines, they become invisible. The snacks on the counter, the TV remote, the phone buzzing in your pocket, they trigger habits without us even realizing it.
It's crazy how much we do on autopilot. That's why awareness is step one. There's this quote, often attributed to Carl Jung: "Until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life, and you will call it fate." To change our habits, we got to know what they are first.
And the book gives us some cool tools for that, like the habits scorecard.
It's super simple. Just list out all your daily habits. By writing them down, you bring those unconscious actions into the light. You start to see your patterns, the cues, your typical responses.
It's like a personal point and call system, like those Japanese railway workers who point and call out each step to prevent errors. The habit scorecard shows us in black and white what we're actually doing day in and day out.
Exactly. And once you see it, you can start being intentional. That leads to implementation intentions.
I will behavior at time and location. That simple formula, right? How does that help with cues?
It makes them concrete. By planning the when, where, and how, you make the cue super specific. You're way more likely to follow through. Plus, it helps you say no to distractions because you've got a plan.
And then there's habit stacking, which is piggybacking a new habit onto an existing one, like after current habit, I will new habit.
It's brilliant. You use those strong existing cues to trigger the new behavior. The key is choosing a reliable, consistent anchor habit. That habit scorecard comes in handy here. Your morning routine, your work day, your evening rituals, those are all potential launch pads for new habits.
After I brush my teeth, I will floss one tooth. Starting small, making it super easy.
Exactly. And to really make good habits obvious, we've got to think about our environment. The book emphasizes that behavior is a function of the person and their environment. Our surroundings shape our actions.
Like how we gravitate towards the easy option. Bud Lights everywhere, Starbucks is on every corner. They've made their products the default choice.
And our senses, especially vision, play a huge role. Make those good habit cues visually prominent. Put that book you want to read right on your coffee table. Keep healthy snacks front and center in your fridge.
Out of sight, out of mind. If you don't see it, you're less likely to do it.
And sometimes that means rearranging your space. The one space, one use rule is great for this. If you try to work from your couch, it's hard to relax there later. Having a dedicated workspace helps.
New environments can also be helpful. Think about how much easier it is to start a new morning routine on vacation. You're away from those old triggers.
Right, but there's a flip side. Bad habits can be autocatalytic, meaning they feed themselves. Trying to resist temptation in an environment packed with bad habit cues. It's an uphill battle.
Like trying to eat healthy when your pantry's full of junk food, it takes superhuman willpower to resist.
So make those bad habit cues invisible, like the example of baby chicks pecking at a red dot. It shows how powerful even small, exaggerated cues can be. And this ties into how the food industry manipulates us. They load up food with salt, sugar, fat, and engineer those textures and flavors to make their products irresistible.
So, law one, make it obvious, understand your cues, design your environment, highlight the good cues, hide the bad ones. Now, on to law two. Make it attractive. This is about craving, right? The desire that fuels our habits.
Craving is the engine. It's the anticipation of the reward that drives us. And dopamine, the feel-good neurotransmitter, plays a big role. It's not just about experiencing pleasure, it's about the anticipation, the wanting.
That explains why the anticipation of a phone notification is often more exciting than the notification itself.
Totally. The story of Laszlo Polgar, who raised his daughters to be chess prodigies, shows this. He made chess their world. They were surrounded by it, they craved it.
And it shows the power of social norms. We're hardwired to fit in, to seek approval, so we're drawn to behaviors that make us feel like we belong.
Especially the habits of people we admire. Our close circle, our broader tribe, and those we see as powerful or high status. Their habits influence us.
So how can we make good habits more appealing? The book talks about linking them with positive feelings.
Reframing is a great technique. It's about changing the way you think about a cue. Instead of seeing pregame jitters as anxiety, reframe them as excitement, as energy to fuel your performance.
It's like choosing to see the glass as half full.
Exactly. Shifting your mindset and the emotional response you attach to a habit. That's law 2. Make it attractive. Now let's move on to law 3. Make it easy. This is about reducing friction, right? Making those good habits effortless.
We often get stuck in motion planning, researching, thinking about doing something. But that's not the same as taking action, which is what actually produces results.
We can get trapped in over-preparation, feeling like we need to know everything before we start. But that's often procrastination in disguise. We're avoiding the possibility of failing.
But habits aren't built on perfection. It's about consistency, about showing up day after day.
Like those London cab drivers, their brains have physically changed because of the constant navigation. It's repetition that strengthens those neural pathways.
So to make the response easy, we got to minimize effort. The book talks about optimizing our environment for good habits.
It's like lean production in manufacturing, eliminating waste and streamlining processes. Good products are designed to be user-friendly. Technology has made things easier too with things like meal delivery apps and ride-sharing.
And then there's the 2-minute rule, which is genius. When starting a new habit, make the initial action so easy it takes less than 2 minutes.
It's about lowering the barrier to entry. Read before bed becomes read one page. Meditate for 30 minutes becomes just sit down and close your eyes.
It's amazing how starting small can create momentum.
Those 2 minutes become a gateway to a bigger routine. Remember, standardize before you optimize. You can't improve a habit that doesn't exist.
That's law 3. Make it easy. Reduce friction. Start small. Build consistency. Now for law 4. Make it satisfying. This is about rewards, right? The payoff that makes us want to repeat a behavior.
Our brains love rewards. Pleasure and disappointment are feedback mechanisms that shape our actions. If a behavior isn't satisfying, it's unlikely to stick.
But good habits often have delayed gratification. Eating healthy today might benefit you years down the line, but that donut offers instant gratification.
Our brains are wired for instant gratification. That's why we got to add a little immediate pleasure to those long-term habits and a little immediate discomfort to the bad ones. Like the couple saving for a trip. Every time they skipped eating out, they transfer that money to their vacation fund.
It's like giving yourself a mini reward that aligns with your bigger goal.
Exactly. Reinforce that desired identity. Habit tracking is another powerful tool. Seeing your progress, marking those X's on a calendar, it's motivating. It becomes its own reward.
And to make bad habits less appealing, there are accountability partners and habit contracts.
These add immediate consequences. Knowing someone's watching or having a contract with penalties can be super effective. Like the guy who used his wife and trainer for accountability with financial and social punishments if he slipped up.
Talk about motivation.
So, law 4, make it satisfying. Reinforce good habits, make bad habits less appealing. Now, the book also talks about some advanced tactics like fine-tuning your habits.
Like finding those habits that really click with your natural abilities, right? Playing to your strengths.
Yes, it's about finding that game where the odds are in your favor. When you enjoy something, you're more likely to stick with it.
And what about staying motivated? The book mentions the Goldilocks rule.
It's about finding that sweet spot of challenge. We're most motivated when tasks are just slightly beyond our current abilities, about 4% beyond our comfort zone. That's where flow happens, that state of being totally absorbed in what you're doing.
But even with the right challenge, boredom can creep in. How do we stay engaged when things get repetitive?
That's the real test. Professionals stick to their schedules even when they don't feel like it. One trick is variable rewards, adding a little unpredictability to keep things interesting. Like slot machines, they keep you hooked with that anticipation of winning.
So keep things fresh, mix it up a little.
But remember, master the basics first. Standardize before you innovate. And be mindful of the potential downside of even good habits. They can make us rigid, attached to a particular identity.
It's like getting stuck in a rut, even if it's a good rut.
True contentment isn't just about achieving desires. It's about the space between desires. It's about finding peace in the process, in the journey. Remember, emotions drive actions. Craving comes before the response, and our actions reveal our true motivations. Rewards lie on the other side of sacrifice. Self-control is hard because it often delays gratification. And satisfaction is relative. It's about managing our expectations.
So to wrap things up, building better habits, according to Atomic Habits, isn't about massive overnight changes. It's about those tiny tweaks, those consistent actions, those systems that shape who we are. And the four laws make it obvious, make it attractive, make it easy, and make it satisfying, give us a roadmap for making those changes stick.
We hope this deep dive has given you a clear understanding of these principles and some practical tools to start implementing them without feeling overwhelmed.
So here's a final thought for you. What's one tiny habit you can start today? What's one small cue you can make more obvious right now?
And if you want to go deeper, check out Atomic Habits by James Clear.
We're excited to see how these insights help you on your journey. Thanks for diving in with us.